Hey everyone, it's Lindsay from My Crafty Plans. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. So today I will be continuing my monthly planning process. So these are the things that I do every month to get set up for the new month. We started with my goal setting video, which is already up on my channel. And today I'm going to be setting up my family organizer, my main monthly planner for the month ahead. So this is the Erin Condren Family Organizer. It's got a lot of really great planning and memory keeping pages that are intended to be used as like a family hub planning system. I actually use this for every area of my life, and I have been absolutely loving this planner this year. Definitely think this was an amazing addition to the Erin Condren line of planners, and this has also just been an amazing addition to my lineup. I love having my monthly planner separate from my weekly and daily planners, and I love having all the extra dashboard spaces. So we've got our calendar set up here, and then there's just tons of pages in here to create journaling space and to create dashboards for the month. So we will be getting this all set up for May. Before I do that, I'm gonna flip through my finished up April pages so that you can take a look. So let's dive into that. So here is my April calendar. My whole theme for April was really around this new Simply Gilded Butterfly washi, which I am just so obsessed with. I absolutely love it. Definitely one of my favorite washis released this year. So I kind of pulled the colors from that and just kind of went with that as the overall theme. You have this really nice cornflower blue for the April color. So we've got that here, and here is what my calendar looks like. Then we've got the recurring schedule, the things to schedule, and then the work projects. I essentially just finished this consulting project and then did not work anymore in the month of April. So not a lot going on in there. Still felt like a really busy month, at least at the beginning. And then I got some really good relaxing time after that. Totally guilt-free after that major consulting project. So that was really nice. I actually love how this whole side of the page looks here with my monthly to-do list, all of the habit tracker, and little 4 theme things over here. This page just kind of turned into a translation of everything from my Moxie Life planner into like one central page. It's kind of broken up a little bit differently than the way I think through it in Moxie. I find this page really functional to refer to when I look at my weekly planners, even though I'm not like crossing off anything in here or tracking any habits or anything in here. Then we've got the little school thing over here. I was trying to write piano songs down, but totally abandoned that. But we had a little bit of school stuff going on this month, a little bit more going on in May. I turned this section down here into a thoughts for May. So when I set this up, I had like some ideas, but I left some spaces blank to just see what I wanted to do with this. So I used this as a space to jot down some notes before I started my May planning. We've also got our dates to remember there. When I set this up, I had meant my reading journal to be on this part here, and I was gonna do like pictures or something on this page, but I changed my mind and I decided that I wanted a full page for my reading journal. So I printed my book stickers out a little bit bigger than I usually do. So these are all 1 inch wide. I do have a YouTube short and a reel on how to make these stickers if you are curious. And I've been having so much fun with tracking books. These were the books that I read in April. I think this was a really good decision. I like having more space to track this now that I know that I'm like really into this whole reading journal thing. And then I think in May, I'm gonna work on making it look like a little bit more aesthetic and bullet journal-y and like doing some boxes or something like that. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. That is my plan there. And then this little section, milestones or achievements, I just write down like one thing about each kid. And then I moved the journaling section down into here. So I just did a little journaling. I didn't have too much to say about April, so I put some other things that were just like big highlights from the month or things that I was loving from the month down there. I always feel like journaling, I'm more of like a journal when you're sad, not journal when you're happy person. And I had a really nice month this month, so I didn't feel like I had as much to say about the month, if that makes sense. So then this is what I call my like split listing page. So basically I just, anytime we have like an event that needs planning or I have thoughts on a specific topic, I just kind of make this. So we had our Passover menu. We also hosted a brunch this thing. I've got like some random notes about new providers we needed to find. And also I had a problem with my driver's license, which is all of which is now taken care of, but just kind of like random little pockets of notes on various topics. Then the next pages here I've left blank. This is where I've decided I'm gonna do the picture memory keeping spread, so I have not done that yet. And because it's gonna have pictures of my kids, I'm not gonna show it on the channel. Anyways, if you don't know, we don't post any pictures of our children on social media. So, but that's what I'm saving those pages for, so I will get that done at some point, probably this week. I don't wanna like let it linger, but that is overall my plan, similar to what I did in March with Go Wild, except for it's just gonna be like family pictures and different things like that. And then the last pages here, this got very chaotic, but I love the little prompts on this, like the little guided things. So we've just got some favorites for this month, which is a mix of things that the kids are loving and the things that I'm loving. So the kids are so obsessed with Bluey again. I feel like it's come back around and they all like just giggle at it and it's really adorable. And that's a children's television show on Disney Plus if you're not familiar. I put it up there as I am not a person who will sit down and watch children's television. I don't want to watch any cartoons or anything like that post having kids. I used to, but now post having kids, I absolutely not. And I would put Bluey up there as like one of the greatest children's shows ever created. My number one being Phineas and Ferb, but Bluey is definitely a close second. Just being outside and then things that I've been watching. I've been like super slow watching Top Chef. Like I watch like a third of an episode a day. So it's taking me forever to watch and I watch it while I'm eating lunch. It's been really relaxing and nice and I'm very much enjoying that. And then I binge watched Shadow and Bone so hard the new season. So yeah, I like burned through that in 2 days. We've got some funniest things sent. The baby keeps calling everyone sir, including me, which is hilarious. I'm also just like really loving baseball right now. I've been to 2 Phillies games so far this year and had such a blast at both of them. I went to one with my dad and I went to one with the kids and it was so fun. And I have to say, I'm just like a huge fan of the rule changes that were recently made in Major League Baseball. If you're not familiar, they've like made some rule changes so that the games are a little bit shorter and it just moves a lot more quickly. Like it's noticeably a different viewing experience, especially in person. And I'm really just having fun this baseball season. And it's also super nostalgic because we used to go a lot when I was little. We also got a new car. We took a trip to DC. Basically, it was a really great month. And I also finished up with my line a day memory keeper there. So those are some highlights from my April. So now I'm all ready to get set up for May. I'm trying to work with the color that's in here. This is the Harmony Neutral colorway. And there was one month in February where I did try and cover up the color, but it's so much work to try and cover up the color because there's just like bars of color on every page. So I decided after that I wasn't going to do that again. We are working with the color and I thought that this color, which is like a steely blue, matched super well with some of the new Simply Gilded washi I have. This is from the Mother Earth release, so I thought we would be able to kind of spread around that. I've got some other washis here as well, all Simply Gildeds, I think. And then I have some colors picked out here. I've got a couple of my Zaire cream highlighters, a new Mr. Pen one, and then some mild liners as well. So I will be using all of these. They're all linked in my Amazon store if you want to check any of these out. These are Zaire's and the Mr. Pens are both like cheap highlighters that you can get on Amazon. They've got some really pretty colors on them, etc. So these videos are sped up with a voiceover because it does take me a while to get all of these pages all set up and ready for the month ahead. So I'm going to throw it over to the voiceover and jump into the calendar. I get started with the washi and the decorative base and then just jump right into the scheduling. I was going to say it got very chaotic this month, but the truth is I feel like this spread always takes me like a couple of tries to get everything into the schedule and is a little bit chaotic, and that is why it is so essential. We have so many calendars. So I do heavily use a Google Calendar for advanced planning, for scheduling, for family stuff, for appointments, everything like that. And a lot of what I do comes from there, and that is absolutely the starting point for this calendar is my May Google Calendar. But then we start to layer on top of that. We've got calendars that the school distributes. I've got calendars from the class that I'm taking, things from my family, things that my husband has sent me. There's just all of this kind of dated calendar information in a bunch of different places. I do try and corral it on Google Calendar as much as possible, but this kind of becomes the place to check my work basically and make sure everything is there in one place. And I find that really, really helpful. It also really cements things because as I write them down, I'm more likely to remember it. And then later I'm more likely to confirm it because I'll see it in my planner while I'm planning. And then while I go to make my weekly plans or my daily plans, I'll make sure everything's correct. I have the right time, etc. And I'm also more likely to catch a mistake that I've made once it's in my monthly calendar. So it's really helpful to have this all together. And then I just try and corral it into these 6 categories. These categories have not changed all year, and I don't really anticipate that they'll be changing anytime soon. They seem to be working perfectly well for now, although obviously continuously evaluating all things in my planning. My categories are work, my channels and social media, appointments, kids, other, and finance. And yes, there is some overlap between the categories, things that could be categorized in one category versus another, but I typically, the way that I separate them is kind of not changed at all, so I'm usually pretty good about separating them. So first thing that I'm pulling in is a couple of financial dates, just some paydays and other stuff that kind of rolls forward schedule-wise from the previous month. including my video calendar. I do still put my YouTube videos in here. That may change because if you don't know, and my next monthly planning video after this will be in my Laurel Denise planner, and I've been using that now. May will be my second month using that as the content planner, and I've really liked that so far. But for right now, I've liked having my YouTube videos still in here, so I've kept them in. And then I'm just using this little bit of washi to mark Teacher Appreciation Week, and then I think I'll do the same thing for Memorial Day weekend, so just blocking off longer times of events. I'm on the PTA of our elementary school, and I'm also a room parent at the preschool, so I've got a bunch of different teacher appreciation stuff going on just to make sure that our teachers feel extra appreciated, which I hope they do because they are honestly so wonderful. I also grabbed my holiday stickers from Rose Colored Days. I will shout out her shop along with Paper Trail Plans. They both sell tons of holiday stickers with all different options, and you can buy sheets for different specific religions that have all of the holidays for that religion. So I have the Jewish holidays there, and I used that to add in Lag BaOmer, which is a minor Jewish holiday, but it wasn't on the calendar, and there's usually an event at the preschool because my kids do go to religious preschool. The holiday is celebrated by having picnics, and the preschool usually has a big picnic outside if the weather permits it, so that does impact how I have to pack lunch, which is why it's going in the calendar. We've also just got tons of weekend plans this month coming up. I think I mentioned that in my goals video as well, so there's definitely a lot of scheduling stuff going on. The weekend of Mother's Day is so busy, but we've got stuff scheduled out on both days every weekend except for the first weekend in May. So it is going to be a pretty busy month with lots of fun stuff planned for the kids. We'll roll right into the kickoff of beach season, which is Memorial Day weekend. I'm very excited for this, so I did go ahead and mark that as well and use some washi to mark that. We haven't finalized our plans or anything like that, but my family does have a beach house and we spend a lot of time there during the summer. I just finished up with a little bit more washi and just wrote May again at the bottom of the month to just kind of finish filling out the sidebar there. I really like this more full look. So then I jumped right back into the dashboard pages here, the recurring schedule. This page, I find this very useful, but I feel like I always forget what I put on it. And some of this stuff is like really helpful to have, and some of this stuff I don't really need to write down. I just remember like when my daughter has homework, it comes home from school with her and I see it when I pull out her backpack, but it's nice to know the overall schedule. So I do like having this filled out, and I do feel like it freed up some space on my calendar because I wasn't always marking like the same work stuff every single week. I could just put it on here, marking the cleaning people that they come every single week. Again, those are mostly things that I also know because they always happen on the same day of the week, but it's really helpful, especially for kids' activities when you pick up a new activity. Like we added baseball last month, so I can go ahead and put that into the recurring schedule, and then I can just mark when we don't have it on the monthly calendar instead of the other way around. I also have been trying to put some tasks and to-dos and chores that are always done on the same day of the week. In general, during the actual week, I don't usually do the same chores every single day or anything like that, so it's hard to plan like that, but I always have a list of things that I do every single Sunday, which includes like laundry, groceries, meal prep, and meal planning, and those things are always done, so I wanted to put them down on Sundays. And as well, I tried to put in, I think, my lunch prep days, which are pretty much always the same. Then using these boxes the same way to schedule things to schedule goes up at the top, and then my work stuff is going to go in the box under that. I could not think of anything that needs to be scheduled, and now like editing this video, I have like 4 things that I could add to that list, so I will definitely do that after this. But yeah, I could not think of anything that I wanted to schedule when I set that up, so I was like, I'm just gonna forget about it for right now. I'll come back to it. Sometimes the editing process helps you plan. And then in this little blank box here, I just like to put deco or a little quote. I actually spent like 10 minutes browsing Pinterest trying to find like some kind of quote, and I eventually went with "I was made for sunny days," which was an unattributed quote that I found on Pinterest, and I really liked it. Again, just leaning into that theme. I just am ready for the warm weather, for all of the sunshine. Very excited for spring and summer, so decided to pull that in. We got some super nice weather at the beginning of April. That was definitely a little bit of a tease, and now it's been kind of cold and rainy again, and I'm just like, bring back the sunshine. I want to go outside. I want to grill. I want to just spend all day outside. So yeah, that is what I was feeling. So I put that in, but I also feel like it goes with the washi theme. You know, we've got our Mother Earth washi. We're talking about our sunny days and all of that good stuff. I think of this page as the goals page. So at the bottom here, I'm working on the habit and task tracker. I was trying to be thoughtful with how I split them up, not necessarily habits versus trackers, just like how I wanted to categorize things into two buckets. It didn't go that well, to be honest, but it's fine. I don't really need two buckets. I just need one long list, and I don't track anything in here. What I do is I use that list to pull habits into my weekly planner to track. So I'm not going to track all of these habits every week, but I'll pull a few to work on each week that I actually want to track in a habit tracker. And then up here, we get my monthly task list. So anything that's in my goals that is a concrete task, when it's finished, you can check it off and say it's done. Something like filing your taxes, which was last month, not this month, but I'm still very excited about it. That goes in here. And then sometimes, just depending on the space or how it gets executed, I might break a specific goal apart into a couple of pieces, or I might roll a couple of things together into one thing. And then I have a lot of house projects that I'm working on this month, if you saw my goals video. So I just wanted to bucket them together to show that they were all from the same category, which is what I did there with that little highlighter. I wrote them all out individually, but then just put that those were the house projects. Then on this side, I'm going to cover up the space where it says family goals. I just have been using this to do themes for the month, and I'm going to use that same stencil to do the 4 flags and mark like 4 big picture items, 4 big picture themes for the month. I really only had 3 this month, but I stretched it out into 4 just so that it would fit nicer, and because I had already drawn the flags. But my big themes for the month are making progress on the house projects, taking it outside, just being outside, getting the inside of the house organized, and helping my mother-in-law with the move back to her house. If you don't know, my mother-in-law has been living with us since February after she was in an accident and had to have some surgery. She's doing super well, and she's getting ready to move back home this month, so we are going to help her with that. And then the last one, which was the one that I didn't really need, is I put school end and summer prep. It's coming up, but it's really more of a thing for like the end of this month, I guess, mostly into next month. But that's fine that it's there. It's still on my mind. And then I'm just adding in a bit of color here. Usually I do try and stick with the overall color theme from the monthly calendar page, but this one I did get like a little bit creative with it just because I wanted to use 4 different colors, and a lot of these things were all on the same theme because most of them are about the house. But anyway, I did finish up with like a little doodle to just take up some space on the bottom there, and then I moved on to the school page. So I'm going to section this off the same way. So we've got elementary school, preschool, PTA, not in that order, and then extracurriculars. I moved this planner does have a whole page for extracurriculars, but my kids are really little and we don't have that many extracurriculars, and I don't require a full notes page to keep track of them. So I just went ahead and rolled that into this, and then I can use that extracurriculars page for something else. One thing that I do really like about this planner is it's like a really good mix of structure and free space. And what is structured, except for that one double dashboard page with the recurring schedule and my goals page, everything else is very easy to cover up, to customize if you need it, to change it if you need it. And I do think that this just works as a great general monthly planner, even if you don't have kids. If you just have a lot of different things that you track, if monthly planning is the way that you think about things, then this is a really great planner because it's just got tons of extra space for all different kinds of things. Not necessarily that you have to use it for family and school. Obviously, it is pre-set up that way, but it's very customizable. So opposite the school pages, we've got our dates to remember, which I am using that as intended, although I find that like medium functional. I don't necessarily need the May dates as much as the forward dates are helpful to have. And then on the bottom there, I'm going to make this I'm going to call it my summer stuff list. So similar to what I did in April with my May thoughts, this is my thoughts for June and going forward. I really like having this here because then this page is purely functional, and then the page after this will be purely memory keeping and journaling. So it's a little bit more separated and partitioned than when I first started using this planner in January. By just shuffling things around a little bit, I can make like a little practical area and then a little bit more of a fun area, which is what I'm going to do here. So then the left-hand page, which was the extracurricular page, becomes my reading log. log, and then the right-hand page, the top section, I use the milestones and achievements. I like that prompt, and I just do one milestone or achievement or one highlight or thing for each of the kids, something from throughout the month or something that they're like working on or have done that's really cute, or just any one specific thing about the kid. And then underneath that, I've got a little May journal section similar to what I've done. That just depends on how I'm feeling for the month. Just a bit of free journaling space, and honestly, having the half page is more than enough journaling space for me. I'm not like a major journaler, but this has been a really fun and easy way to dip my toe in that I find really enjoyable and that I've found really easy to stick with as well. At 4 lined notes pages, the first 2 I set up for my split listing. So this is just an area where I can make different categorized lists throughout the month. And then I left the last 2 blank in case I want to do the pictures again. And then I'm finishing up by setting up my line a day memory keeper. I've done this for a really long time, and I think it's a really great way to get into memory keeping if you're just starting out. Basically, you just write down one thing, good or bad, that happened every single day. I just finished that up with a little bit more washi, and that is it for the setup. All right, that is everything. So let's just finish up with a last flip through of the planner. Here is my calendar setup. I love what I did with the sidebar this month, so definitely really feeling that. Recurring schedule, my things to schedule, which I will have to work on that list shortly. Got some work projects going on. Again, my translation from my Moxie life with my monthly tasks, our big picture plans, and some habits and task tracking. And then we've got our school page here, which I've set up again, our dates to remember. And then I decided, likewise, how I did my May thoughts on the April calendar. I've got one here pre-set up that's just going to be like summer thoughts, so a little bit more than just for June. It has a tendency to all blur together, so get ready, June, July, August, any thoughts that we need down there. I will still obviously be setting this up for the months of summer, but just knowing myself, we kind of think of summer as like one big long month of fun there. I'm so excited for summer, in case you can't tell. Then again, I set up a space for my reading log, again going with the larger space here, and the milestones and achievements same, and then my May journal little setup. So I think this is going to be like a really nice little bit of memory keeping and journaling space there. And then we've got our split listing pages. This I've left completely blank. Again, we'll see how the pictures goes, and I can incorporate that there, or can purpose this for something else, leaving it completely blank in case I want to do something with stickers or with pictures or anything with it. And then we've got our guided journal page, which I don't do any pre-set up there, and my line a day memory keeper. So those are all my May pages all set up for the month. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you like the Family Organizer? Is anyone else out there using a Family Organizer? I would love to hear about it. Like I said before, this has just been such an amazing addition to my planner lineup this year, and I'm just really all in on this planner. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and you can also check me out on Instagram and TikTok at MyCraftyPlans to keep up with everything going on in my planners. Bye!